What is going on, guys and girls? Vanguard here at OnPointTactical. This is a video that I have hesitated on making a couple different times, but after playing Battlefield 4 with Second Assault and that newest update, I really felt it necessary to sort of go over what we really don't have in Battlefield 4, and some things that Battlefield 4 has done well, but really this is going to be mostly a negative review on Battlefield 4. I will do maybe a positive video on it later, or maybe we'll tackle everything all in this one video. I don't know at this point. I'm just going to kind of make it up as I go along. So, Battlefield 4 is right now my favorite first-person shooter on PlayStation 4. If I could get BF3 on PlayStation 4, I would be playing that far above Battlefield 4 right now. And I think that most of that comes back to the netcode. The netcode in Battlefield 3 was far from perfect, and you guys know this. But in Battlefield 4, it's just really abysmal. It's pathetic. You die around corners constantly. You do reload animations and get no bullets in your gun. You will walk around a corner and drop 15 rounds on a person. They'll do a 180 and drop you in just a couple rounds because of poor hit detection on your part. It really is just sort of a shame that the netcode has been reduced to this from Battlefield 3. So what do we need to do? What does DICE need to do to make Battlefield 4 a more balanced and more functional game right now? Well, first and foremost, we got to change the netcode. It doesn't matter if we're going for a completely different netcode or if we're just overhauling the current netcode. I don't care. We need a new netcode. That has to happen. Or just an updated netcode. It has to be fixed. We have to re-look at some grenade spam. Okay, that means either the elimination of or the nerf of the incendiary grenade, the RGO, and the V40 minis. In Battlefield 3, it was very simple. You had a grenade, you threw it, maybe you killed someone, maybe you didn't, and sure, you could still sit on the ammo box and go for grenade spam nonstop, but with the ability to carry 4 V40 mini grenades, it really just is overpowered, and there's really no reason to use any grenade other than the RGO or the minis at this point. So we need to look at those grenades. The mobile AA, the range on that has to be taken down. We gotta make helicopters like more resistant to fire or something. Rockets need to quit throwing helicopters sideways so easy because that makes you crash even if they didn't get the kill. Like if you tag a transport helicopter with a tank shell, it just throws the thing into a barrel roll and there's nothing that the pilot can do at that point. It's sort of annoying and it is really imbalanced. So we need to look at that. We need to look at the one-hit kill glitch. That needs to be eliminated. Rubber banding, server stability in general needs to be better. We need to, for one thing, DICE needs to quit worrying about how these maps look and work on freaking making the maps balanced to where they're actually playable. I play Domination and Team Deathmatch for the most part, and you guys know this. Maps like Perisal Storm, there is so limited cover in relation to how many angles of fire you're constantly under. Aside from those 3 main buildings, the rest of it you're pretty much just stuck behind this tiny piece of cover, and once again the issue of grenade spam comes up. Someone tosses a mini at you, forces you out of the cover, and then they blast your face off because you don't have enough cover to properly heal yourself or whatever you're trying to do. And in a lot of cases it just results in, for one, unfun gameplay. It just really eliminates the enjoyment levels. And it also makes it very painful because DICE has made so many Battlefield games work now. So for Battlefield 4 to just sort of end that streak, I've been really sort of giving DICE the benefit of the doubt. It's like, okay, EA pushed them, they had to release the game a little bit early. You know, that they don't have that much development time in relation to how much they remodel or completely reinvent but it's to that point where they did the same thing, had the same timeline for Battlefield 3. Battlefield 3 had a pretty sucky launch, for lack of better words. But within 6 months, it was repaired to where the game was very playable. Netcode was pretty much already patched to as good as it was going to ever get in Battlefield 3's life cycle. Well, it's been 6 months for Battlefield 4, and we're not seeing that. We're seeing the same one-hit kill glitch that has been in the game since launch, same netcode problems since launch, we have the same rubber banding problems since launch, we have all these different glitches that have been like, they may have been minorly upgraded or minorly fixed, but they haven't been addressed entirely or repaired to the extent in which players are expecting right now. We have so many problems that have still lingered on from launch that it's making it hard to keep having faith in the fact that DICE is going to fix this thing eventually. I don't know that it's going to happen anymore. I think that we're pretty much just stuck with the netcode. Now, DICE has released an article on Battlelog talking about different balancing things that they're looking at, and that they're looking at different netcode problems, but for the most part, it looks like we're just out of luck for a lot of the things that we want to have fixed. We were supposed to get the revolvers updated, the mobile AA updated, we were supposed to get all this garbage upgraded, and that was like a month and a half ago, and we have yet to see that patch actually hit the ground. We get all these patches that have continuously said a fix for kill trading. Well, we still get kill trading constantly because they're trying to fix things that aren't the netcode. It's the netcode's fault that we're getting all these kill trades. For those of you that don't know, let's go ahead and explain basically what netcode is. I'm not by any means a game designer, but from what knowledge I could dig up, basically the netcode is responsible for every online interaction in any Battlefield title, and the netcode is very much so responsible for the kill trading, the reloads where you don't actually get any ammo at the end of it, or the issues where you will clamber over an object and randomly get killed in action. Those sort of deaths, or those sort of problems that feel like you are lagging, it may not be your internet connection. It is most likely the netcode. If you have over 4 megabytes down and over 1 megabyte of internet for download, then you should be okay. I'm not saying that that's like an optimal situation by any means, but you should be okay to where you aren't experiencing just these random kill trades for no reason. It probably wasn't your fault, it was netcodes. So the video so far has been very strongly against DICE and against Battlefield 4 and against the netcode. So what are some things that Battlefield 4 has done correctly? Well, Battlefield 4 has totally reinvented weapon customization. It's to the point where it's like they're running out of things to add. I think the bullet types is a very likely contender for the next upgrade in the next Battlefield title for weapon customization. I honestly think it would be reduced. But then some things that are good about Battlefield 4 are also bad about Battlefield 4, if you know what I mean. I mean, we got all these different game modes. We got Obliteration, Conquest Large Rush, we got Defuse, Domination, Team Deathmatch, Squad Deathmatch. We have all these different game modes and all these different features, but what that means is that the developers are spending less and less time on every one of them. So they're, for one, insanely imbalanced for anything but Conquest and Domination. Those game modes are pretty much the only balanced game modes in the entire Battlefield game. Beyond that, you have Obliteration, which I don't think can ever be properly balanced, but we're going to go ahead and put that on the list of things that aren't balanced. Then we have Defuse, which had horrible launch bugs, and really almost no one plays it. Deathmatch is camper central. The maps that Deathmatch centers around are very largely controlled by the roof campers, and beyond that, like Zavad 311 I think is a perfect example. If you get the roof camp on that map, you're pretty much just going to win by default. And then you have these other game mode issues where, like, even Conquest isn't balanced properly sometimes. It's like the flag was put in just this bizarre location where there's almost no cover, or it was put in this location where, like, the infantry can't really do anything because it is open. It's all about the tanks, and then you got the flags where it's all about the infantry and the tanks can't get in. It's like it's almost imbalanced. Battlefield 4 is definitely much more vehically focused than Battlefield 3 was. That is no doubt in my mind that it is more centered around the vehicles. That's not really a good thing as far as I'm concerned. I like the gunplay that DICE has. DICE has such great gunplay. If they would just focus on that a little bit more, they would have so many players satisfied, I think, at this point. And honestly, right now, I think that a lot of COD players would sort of try Battlefield. And if Battlefield wasn't so vehically focused, I think that a lot of COD players would stick around and learn to be real Battlefield players instead of just the guys that we have now that are like, well, if it's all about the tanks, then why do I need to get thrown on ammo? Or like they're, oh my gosh, it's all about the tanks, why would I ever play anything but engineer? And then you got the guys that are like, well, recon's the only way I can live because of all these tanks. You got these problems as well. Right now, the vehicles aren't strong, but they're the focus of the game. So it also combats itself in that manner. The fact that the maps are very much so designed around the vehicles, and then the vehicles not being very strong, it's like the infantry can't do anything because of how the maps are laid out, but yet there's so much infantry on Conquest that shooting at the tanks, they don't last very long either. It's a pitifully balanced situation right now. I think that if DICE was smart about it, they would start designing, in these map packs, they would design 2 maps for vehicles, and they would design 2 maps for infantry, and then leave it simple as that. Don't try to get a little bit of everything in every map, because it just isn't going to work. And if you're designing these maps as far as flag locations around tanks, then the infantry is automatically going to be at a weak point. And if you design the flags for infantry, then the tanks are going to have the weak end of it right then. So, to sort of recap and bring this video to a close, it is running a little bit long right now, almost 13 minutes. Battlefield 4 is not what we've all hoped for. In fact, right now it's far from what we've hoped for. We still play it because right now it's pretty much the only first-person shooter that is on next-gen consoles. I mean, sure, we got Call of Duty Ghosts, but if we're Battlefield players, we're not necessarily COD players. I personally am thinking about picking up Ghosts just because Battlefield 4 is wearing really thin on me right now. All these bugs that I've been having to deal with for so long now. It's almost like, well, if these bugs have been around for so long and your development team is working, with air quotes, around the clock, then why on earth are we still experiencing these same problems? The patches that we've been getting, for those of you that don't know and haven't looked it up, these patches haven't actually addressed hardly anything. No, these patches have been installing systems to watch the netcode while players are watching so that they can nail down some things that are wrong with the netcode. Well, that's fine. If they want to try and fix the netcode through that manner, find out different glitches, fix different glitches using that method, that's totally fine by me. But you need to work on some bug fixes also. There have been very few bug fixes so far. Okay, I mean, we still have the audio glitch on TDM and Domination. That's still in place, has been for months. We have, like I said, one hit kill glitch, and just all these stupid bugs that it's like, you guys, seriously, if you've been working around the clock, it shouldn't take you 5 months to nail these things down. So, in the end, I think right now Battlefield 4 is somewhat disappointing of a title. Naval Strike is coming up, and we'll see how their map design team worked on that. We'll have to see how that goes. It should be quite interesting to see how that goes. I'm kind of interested to see how overpowered the anti-helicopter mine is, and also how grenade spamming the 3GL is, because we all wanted more grenade spam in Battlefield 4. That's exactly what we wanted. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the video, even though it was somewhat negative. Let me know in the comments box what you think about Battlefield 4 in its current state. Personally, I think it's rather disappointing, but I do think that eventually DICE will get things figured out. I just fear that it's going to be right about the time that the next title releases. So I'm Vanguard here at OnPointTactical, and I hope to see you all on the battlefield.